Hi guys, it's Matty Boy Walker here. I am just, this is my first sort of video for the new year. And it's a very sad one because just a few hours ago it was announced that one of the world's greatest drummers and lyricists there ever was and ever will be has sadly passed away. I'm talking about Neil Peart, the Professor, the best drummer in the world. It's awful. Rush mean so much to so many people. They're one of life's really important bands. Even though they never got the mainstream, the radio play or whatever, they were still a monster of a band. Monster of a band. The best musicians in the world, really. I mean, Geddy Lee's bass playing, who I actually met last year, his book signing in Glasgow. Geddy Lee, Neil Peart, and Alex Lifeson's wonderful guitar playing, but then Neil Peart also wrote the lyrics. The sad thing is that I actually played Rush loads this week at the gym, whilst on the bus to work, had the headphones on, and I was listening to all the classic Rush album because a week tomorrow I'm going to see the Rush tribute moving pictures, who don't tour that much, and Rush are the one band I always said I would never ever ever go and see a tribute to Rush, because nobody sounds like Rush. Quite a few bands sound like the Stones. You can sound like the Beatles. You can sound like Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Status Quo, Motorhead, but you cannot sound like Rush. Nobody sounds like Rush, ever. So tonight, I just thought I would do a little tribute to Neil. Talk about Rush when I first got into them. 2003, on a compilation album called Classic Acts, I discovered two bands that I really liked on that album. One was Saxon, when I heard 747 Strangers of the Night. The second one was Rush, hearing Spirit of Radio. I found out then that Rush were a Canadian rock trio, and then I got the retrospective 1 and 2 greatest hits, and then my dad showed me them live, and I didn't envision them to look like the way they did. And the sound they make for three people. I then was hooked. I had to get into this music. I couldn't believe the amount of different sounds that Rush had. The first two albums, proggy. Caress of Steel, 2112, Hemispheres, A Farewell to the Kings. Those long pieces, really, really prog. Just, great stuff. Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures, more commercial. Into Singles in 82, Grace Under Pressure, Power Windows and Hold Your Fire. Very 80s, very keyboardy. Still listenable. It's not my favourite Rush period. My favourite Rush period is the 70s, and of course Permanent Waves, Moving Pictures. But those 80s albums are amazing, and it just goes to show what great musicians they are. And then of course into the 89 and 90s, when we had Presto, Roll the Bones, Counterparts, Test Reco, Vapor Trails, Snakes and Arrows, which is still one of my favourites, and then finally Clockwork Angels, not to mention the massive tours they did, plus the live albums. The live albums, you want to listen to Rush live, you can't go wrong, to be honest. As I said, there's nothing wrong with a great live album. Nothing. It's sometimes even better than listening to a studio album, my opinion. Okay? It's not to say that if anyone else disagrees with me, totally fine. So that was the first time I heard of Rush, and then I saw them. My first ever big gig in Glasgow. I'm 30 years old now. I was 14 at the time. September 2004. The intro video came on with all the screens and all their album, the characters from their album covers and everything. And then Ben Stiller's dad did the intro video. Okay, guys, come on, time to get on the stage. Boom! Into Finding My Way, the medley of songs. And then they launch it at Spirit of Radio. And I was side on the front. But it was just an amazing, amazing experience. To which point I went home and said to my brother, you need to listen to this band. Because he was into Slipknot and Linkin Park and all that sort of, and various others. But he and Iron Maiden was his favourite. But he went and listened to Rush and he couldn't believe it. So the next time they played Glasgow on the Snakes and Arrows tour, he came with us and was equally as blown away. It was amazing. But what really, really, really put the icing on the cake for us all, my dad and my brother included, was 2011. Now, the year before that, 2010, I was in Toronto, and Rush were playing Canada that week. Didn't know about it. All sold out, unfortunately, and I was gutted. But a year later, they took the Time Machine tour to Glasgow once again, and they played Moving Pictures all the way through from start to finish. And we were about 8 rows from the front, but we ran when the lights went down to the front row of the SEC in Glasgow, and it was just I've never seen musicianship as good as that anywhere. And every time you saw Neil, sometimes Neil was hidden behind the drums, but he was just he's precision. The way he plays, well, he's not all the time a hard hitting drummer. He could play anything. Jazz, swing, military. The guy was a fucking genius, and his percussion, the xylophones, and the triangles, and all the timpani. He was amazing. Geddy Lee's the best bass player in the world. Glenn Hughes and Geddy Lee are my favourite bass players of all time. Alex Lifeson, what a guy on the guitar. I mean, Rush have just timeless albums. Many people have a favourite Rush period. I personally think Rush have never made a bad album. The one thing I will say is that I think that Clockwork Angels, their last album, is overrated. I think that Snakes and Arrows and Vapor Trails are much better. Now, again, my opinion. But to all drummers out there who were such an influenced by Neil, should I say, this is just unbelievable. Really, really sad. So all I can say is raise a cold beer and play Rush loud and proud, people. And this is why we never know when our heroes may leave us. It's such a sad thing. And I'm going to do another show about this, about don't leave it too soon to see your favourite rock band's life, because you never know. And of course, there's many people I've spoke to over the last couple of hours on the internet that said they never got the chance to see Rush, and it is indeed a shame, because they were probably the best live band ever. Actually, I've seen many a gig. Nothing will ever top Rush 2011 on the Time Machine tour for me. All the Rush tours were great, but that one is the pinnacle. Really. So guys, yeah, this is the end of my video. I'm going to do some more, maybe tomorrow night, of gigs I've got coming up and why you shouldn't leave it too long to see your heroes, because they're not going any younger. This is precisely why I take the time, and my girlfriend does approve, of travelling to see these bands, whether it's alone, with friends, with family. You know, I will travel to see my heroes until they are no longer. You know, it really is something to think about. So, signing out for now. Please leave your comments below, your Rush memories, what you thought of Mr. Peart, and your favourite Rush album, live album, memories of when you saw them live, and just your thoughts on them in general. And of course, big mentions about Neil. Matty Boy Walker, signing out, and I will see you very soon for the next video.